War, So they sent me to pick you up. I'm Corporal Beckwith. Margaret. She smiles again. Is that all your things? Dewey looks at her suitcase and nods. Okie dokie then. You go say goodbye to your grandmother while I put your gear in the trunk. Nana had to go to the home, says Dewey quietly. This is just the neighbor's house. Oh. Margaret seems startled by this news. Oh, I'm sorry. Do you want to say goodbye to your neighbor then? Not really, says Dewey, but I guess I should. She turns and walks up to the front door, opening it a few inches. Mrs. Kovac, I'm leaving now. Thank you for letting me stay here. She calls down the dim hallway. There is silence, then a muffled response from the kitchen. Dewey waits for a moment, but when Mrs. Kovac does not appear, she closes the door quietly and walks down the steps to the big black Ford. Her suitcase is already in the trunk, and Margaret has come back for the shopping bag. She looks down into it in surprise. What's all this? Just my radio set and some experiments, and a few books. Margaret pulls a stuffed yellow duck from the top of the bag and smiles. And who's this? Dewey shrugs. Einstein. He was a present from Papa when I came from Boston on the bus to live with Nana. I was only 7 then. Margaret puts the bag in the trunk and closes it with a solid thunk. How old are you now? She walks around and opens the passenger door for Dewey. 11 next month. Dewey gets in and presses her face to the window to look at Nana Gallucci's house one last time. Her coat still smells like Nana, like face powder and cocoa. She wonders how long that will last. Goodbye, Nana, she whispers to the vacant house. Margaret pulls the car out and they drive away. What time will we get to Chicago? Dewey asks after about a mile. It is already the middle of the afternoon, and that's a long, long drive. She wonders if she will have to nap in the car, if Papa will be awake when they arrive. Margaret frowns. She turns, still watching the road, and talks in Dewey's direction. No one's told you? Told me what? Dewey feels the fear creep back into her stomach like a trickle of ice water. Well, there's been a little change in plans, Margaret says slowly. Your father's not in Chicago anymore. He's working out west. Out west where? Somewhere in New Mexico. I don't know anymore, actually. It's top secret. My clearance is only high enough to pick you up and drop you off. War stuff? Exactly. Your father must be pretty important to have the army send an escort for you. I guess so, Dewey says. She doesn't like this. Everything is changing, and it is all changing too fast. She takes a deep breath. If you don't know where Papa is, how are you going to drive me there? I'm not, honey. My orders are to get you to Union Station in time to catch the 4 o'clock chief. Your ticket's in my pocket. Dewey says nothing. She feels like a package that is being delivered. Her excitement about seeing Papa again has gone away, and in its place is a growing dread of what will happen next. She does not like surprises, and there have been too many this week. She sits and looks out the window, numbly watching the houses of St. Louis turn into businesses as they near downtown. The train station is a huge stone structure that looks like a castle with a tower. Margaret pulls the car up in a line of 20 others. There are people everywhere, hundreds of them, all walking very fast in every direction. Most of them are men, and half of those are in uniform. Dewey stands on the curb and feels very small and alone. Well, here we are, says Margaret. She takes Dewey's things from the trunk and waves a finger in the air. A Negro man in a gray uniform hurries over. He tips the shiny black brim of his red cap. Yes, ma'am. Where to this afternoon?